Diagnostic arthroscopy should proceed in a stepwise manner so that you examine all the structures of the shoulder joint and don't miss any pathologies. So Steve Snyder is a famous surgeon from United States, and he gave the 15-point system. The South California Orthopedic Institute, the SCOI 15-point system, in which you look at the intra-articular anatomy of the shoulder. So first structure, visualizing from your posterior aspect. The first 10 steps are visualizing from posteriorly. So when you start with your viewing posteriorly, can you switch on the first video, the left side video? So yes, just look at the anatomy on the left side. There is the biceps tendon going vertically. You look at the biceps tendon going into the bicipital groove, and using a probe you try and look for the stability of the biceps tendon, whether it's stable, whether there is any labral pathology, superior labral pathology, whether there is in there. So biceps tendon is your lighthouse. For you to start your shoulder arthroscopy, the first step or the first structure you look for is the biceps tendon, which is going vertically from your superior glenoid tubercle. Moving on from biceps, the next structure you will look for would be your posterior labrum. So posterior labrum, the second structure to be visualized after the biceps tendon would be the posterior labrum. So you start from the biceps, go posteriorly along the glenoid and look at the posterior labrum. So as you can see in this video, the posterior labrum is visualized as a thickened structure along the posterior border of your glenoid. So after your posterior labrum, you go down inferiorly and look at the axillary recess. So here you may find some loose bodies if we are looking at the axillary recess. So after the posterior labrum, you go down into the inferior axillary recess. Look at if sometimes you may find some loose bodies in these recess. This recess would be tight in cases of adhesive capsulitis or frozen shoulder. So after the inferior axillary recess, you move on to the next structure, and which would be, you'll be going back to the glenoid, looking at the glenoid articular surface. So glenoid articular surface would be a smooth structure, glistening white. In case of some instability, you may find some cartilage defects maybe there on the articular surface. After examining the glenoid articular surface, this is what I've marked is the soft spot or the center of your glenoid, which you can see as a thinned cartilage which is seen here. After your glenoid articular surface, you will be moving on to the next structure, which is your articular surface of your supraspinatus tendon. So you will go along your glenoid, along your biceps tendon, goes superiorly. You will see the articular surface of the supraspinatus tendon would be attaching onto the greater tuberosity. So this is in the video you can see an intact supraspinatus tendon attaching onto the GT. The next structure, as you have, after you have seen your supraspinatus tendon attachment, would be a bare area of the humeral head. So this is the area of the humeral head between the attachment of the rotator cuff and the articular surface. So this is the bare area where there is no cartilage. So sometimes we are not able to differentiate between bare area, or there may be confusion between bare area and the Hill-Sachs lesion. Hill-Sachs lesion would have cartilage all around. Bare area would be between your rotator cuff attachment and the humeral articular surface. The next thing which you visualize is the articular surface of the humeral head. This is in the video you can see, you will be seeing a wide glistening humeral head covered with the cartilage. There, sometimes you may see a Hill-Sachs defect in patients with instability. So after you have seen the humeral head, You again come down into the joint per se, and you see the rotator interval. So rotator interval is what you can see. It is between the superiorly would be your biceps and inferiorly would be your subscapularis. So actually it is the area between the supraspinatus and your subscapularis, but the border of supraspinatus is marked intra-articularly, can be seen intra-articularly as your biceps tendon going vertically. So this triangle which you can see between the biceps and your subscapularis with your glenoid down, this is your rotator interval area. So this is the area where you make your antero-superior and antero-inferior portals. So after you have seen the rotator interval, you move on to the next structure. You go down inferiorly, visualizing your anterior labrum and antero-inferior labrum. So from the rotator interval, you go along the anterior labrum, visualizing all the anterior and antero-inferior labrum. In case of a Bankhart's lesion instability, you will see a tear in the antero-inferior labrum. So all this procedure, all these steps are done looking from the posterior portal only. And the last structure which you visualize from the posterior portal is your inferior glenohumeral ligament. The last structure, which as you see the antero-inferior labrum go anteriorly, you will see the fibers of the IGHL or the inferior glenohumeral ligament. This would be lax in a patient with instability. So these are the 10 steps which you do for looking at the joint when you looking from the posterior portal.